everyone, welcome to my channel. In this lesson, I will cover about different type of chemical reaction. I will first talk about synthesis reaction, followed by decomposition reaction, and then exchange reaction with certain examples. Let's begin with synthesis reaction. Synthesis is also known as combination reaction. By the name suggests, it means that different elements or different compounds combine to form one single molecule. The left hand side is known as reactants, the right hand side is known as product. And as you can see, whether it's two reactants or three reactants, it forms one single product. Every time you look into different reaction, if only one product is formed, it's an example of synthesis reaction. One of the biological example is using amino acids. So amino acids, simply the body is made up of different proteins. An amino acid is one molecule which combine with different composition forming a single protein molecule. So amino acids, they combined forming peptide bonds and they form one single molecule. So this is an example of a synthesis reaction. Let us now understand what decomposition reaction is. Decomposition meaning that one single reactant is producing several products. And it can be two products, it can be more than two, it can be three products. And one of the example, I'm going to first discuss about the chemical reaction which involves the chemical compound, and that is magnesium oxide, which is one reactant. The left hand side is known as reactant and the right hand sides are known as products. So when magnesium oxide dissociate or decompose, it produces two products. One is magnesium and oxygen. Note in bracket, it gives the states of the reaction. So magnesium oxide exists as solid state. Magnesium, when it decomposes, this element exists at solid state, and oxygen is in gaseous form. So this was about the chemical reaction, the chemical compound which is being used. This is called as a compound, and magnesium and oxygens are elements. Now let's understand using another biological example which happens in the human body or which takes place. It's a biological reaction. This is a glycogen. Glycogen is a storage form of glucose. So what is happening is this glycogen, you can see it's a big molecule. It's a 6-membered rings containing of each of the glucose molecule, and then they decompose producing several glucose molecule. So one single reactant is producing several products. So you can have more than one product which is being formed. So this is one of the example, or this is the example for decomposition reaction. Let's now understand what exchange reaction means. By the name suggests, exchange meaning displaces. It's an example of displacement reaction. This is the first example, which means it's a compound AB. When it reacts with an element forming C, it decomposes or it exchange. This B and C get exchanged and it forms AC plus B. It can also involve two different compounds which can exchange, resulting in the formation, in this case, AD and BC. So A is combining with D and B is combining with C. Let us first understand using a chemical compound reaction. So the first example is copper sulfate is combining with zinc, producing, so this zinc is displacing the copper from its compound copper sulfate solution, and it produces copper in a solid form plus zinc sulfate. It's also an example of displacement reaction. So this is also called as displacement reaction. What is happening is zinc is displacing copper from its ion form. The another example where it involved both compound is sodium chloride and potassium iodide, and as you can see, this sodium is combining with iodide and then the potassium is combining with chlorine. So this is an exchange reaction. Let me discuss with one of the biological reaction. Now this involves glucose molecule. As you can see, glucose is a 6-membered molecule with the oxygen here as one of the center atom, and then this is adenosine triphosphate. Adenosine is a combination of adenine plus ribose sugar. So it's a nucleoside plus a sugar forming nucleotide. So this is adenine. This is a ribose sugar. And then you have 3-phosphate. It says triphosphate, meaning you have 3 phosphates include. So that's the whole structure of adenosine triphosphate. What is happening when it is combining with glucose? This one of the phosphate group here, it dissociate. As you can see, only 2 phosphate group is left, and that phosphate group is combining here with glucose. So this is an example of exchange reaction forming glucose phosphate, and instead of triphosphate, now only 2 phosphates are left. So it's called as diphosphate. Tri meaning 3, di meaning 2. So 3-phosphate is changing into 2-phosphate, and that one phosphate group is combining here with glucose. That's why it's an example of the exchange reaction, because triphosphate is changing into di and it is combining with the glucose. So that's all about this video. Thank you for watching. Please do share, subscribe and like for getting notification for future videos. Thank you.